You are my lifesaver. And many years ago, I have a depression and very struggle because of my personal life was very misery. And there was very darkness for a few years. And just happened to find your YouTube, 증문죽서, and I've watched you over 3 years, and every day over and over and again. That slowly changed my mind and become, I see the bright lightness from my life. So I really appreciate, and I want to introduce my job a little bit because my question is related my job. I work at the memory care facility. I'm not a caregiver, but my job is I do the work and yoga, exercise, and read books and with Alzheimer patient, but we call their resident because they live there. We don't say patient. And a lot of employees work with me, and one of the employees, she's been work long years, 4 5 years, and I got just hired 6 months ago. I'm still learning, and I love my job. I like to taking care of them. And my mother passed away by Alzheimer disease, so I have really have a feeling with them, connect. And my question is, one of the employee, we have to work together, but she refused me to talk. And if I do that, the exercise a little bit late and another schedule, she has to do that and 5-10 minutes late. And she sent the other employee to telling me finish it quick. And there was, I feel no respect. And when I do that artwork, making or painting something, and I find it all the display at the artwork, the room, but I find it 3-4 days later, she trashed mine, and then she display with her artwork and with the residents. And that happened over and over and again. And then I felt very disrespectful. And I'm the one only Asian foreign employee, and all other they're Native American. But I don't want to think that way. That's the way too far. I don't want to think that way. But I feel like isolated. And when we have a baking class, she doesn't cleaning the kitchen area, leave everything and trash. So I'm the one take the trash out, cleaning, dishwash. So it's many little things, job description. She doesn't do that. So I'm the one only go to cleaning. But I don't want to complain all the time. I talked with my boss 3 times. I have a meeting with this issue, but still didn't fix anything. She's doing same way. So my question is, without she's respect me, how can I be peaceful mind? Keep my mind is peaceful. Whatever she does, I just want to do my job, and they are neglect their job, but I want to do best way, my performance with the residents. I want to make them happy, and I want to really dedicate my time at work. This very meaningful job. I don't want to quit the job and find another job. I know everywhere kind of the people work any job environment. So am I a negative person to see the wrong things picking up, or how can I make my mind peaceful? Sometimes I got nightmare. So I want to get rid of that, the mind. That's my question. Thank you, 스님.
그 직장을 첫째 그만두는 방법이 있는데 지금은 그 직장을 그만두고 싶지 않다는 거 아닙니까?
So you can always quit, but right now you're saying you don't want to quit.
I don't want to quit. I like do my job.
두 번째는 상사에게 얘기해서 개선하도록 요청했는데 그것도 개선이 안 된다는 거 아니에요.
And the second is that you talk to your supervisor to try to correct the situation, but nothing happened.
That's correct. It didn't.
그러면 그 동료가 스스로 그렇게 해주면 좋은데 그렇게 안 하고 있지 않습니까?
So it'll be best if the colleague behaves as you think he or she should behave, but she's not doing that, right?
That's right. She does.
그러면 이런 경우에 나는 어떻게 할 거냐는 거예요.
So the question becomes, so given this situation, what can I do?
Yes.
직장을 그만둘 수도 없고 상사에게 얘기해도 안 고쳐지고 본인한테 얘기해도 안 고쳐지고 그런 경우에 나는 어떻게 할 것인가 하는 거죠.
So you don't want to quit. Talk to the supervisor, escalation that didn't work. You talk to the person in question, and that didn't work. So given these conditions, what can I do?
결혼하면서 직장에 다닐 거냐, 결혼하지 않으면서 다닐 거냐, 이제 이거밖에 남은 게 없습니다.
So the only two choices left is that one, should I continue working in this place while suffering, or should I continue working in this place without suffering?
지금은 결혼하면서 다니고 있습니다.
Because currently you are working in this place while suffering.
결혼하지 않으면서 다닐 수 있는 방법은 있습니다.
There is a way for you to continue working in this place without suffering.
근데 본인은 그게 다른 사람이 해결해 줘야 된다 이렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
But you think that somebody else needs to solve your problem in order for you to continue working in this place without suffering.
그런데 그들이 하지 않습니다.
But they're not doing so.
그럼 나는 더 이상 할 방법이 없느냐?
Then do I have no choice left?
할 수 있습니다.
No, you still have options.
첫째, 자기가 예를 든 걸 가지고 말한다면
So taking your example,
첫째, 5분 정도 지났는데 끝내라 하면 네 알겠습니다 하고 그냥 내 하는 만큼 하면 됩니다.
so if she says, finish up because you're already 5 minutes past, then you go, okay, will do, and just don't complete it.
그걸 간섭이라고 생각하지 말고 시간 됐다 하는 그냥 종소리라고 생각하면 됩니다.
Do not consider that as interference, just consider that as an alarm clock.
그건 그렇게 알려주는 건 좋은 일이에요.
So notifications by alarms is good.
끝낼 수 있으면 지금 끝내고 일이 조금 더 있으면 조금 더 있다 끝내면 됩니다.
So if you can just finish it right there and there, that's good. But if you have to do it for a couple of more minutes, then that's what you do.
왜 제 시간에 안 끝냈냐 이렇게 물으면 sorry, 그 사람하고 얘기하다 보니 조금 늦게 됐습니다. 다음부터는 시간을 잘 맞춰보겠습니다. 이렇게 얘기하면 돼요.
And if she asks you why you didn't finish on time, you go, sorry, the conversation ran long. The next time I'll try to make it on time.
다음에 또 늦으면 sorry, 저거 잘 안 되네요. 이렇게 얘기하면 돼요.
The next time you go long, then you go, you apologize again. I'm sorry, it doesn't really, I tried my best, doesn't really work out as easily as I thought.
그 sorry 이것만 할 수 있으면 이 문제는 아무 문제도 안 돼요.
So this does not become a problem as long as you can say sorry.
근데 왜 네가 내 일에 간섭하나 이렇게 생각하니까 괴로운 거예요.
But you're causing your own suffering by thinking that that person is interfering with your job.
두 번째, 그림을 걸어놨는데 떼버리면 와서 차다가 자기가 또 그 떼버리고 또 그거 갖다 걸어놓으면 돼요.
And if she takes off the artwork from the wall, then you know what? You can actually take off her artwork and put yours back up.
뭐 아무 얘기도 안 하면 돼요.
You don't have to say anything.
내 요 그림 걸어놨는데 어디 갔지? 이러면서 갖다 걸어놓으면 돼요.
You can say, hey, what happened to my artwork? And just put it back up.
또 자기 딴 거 갖다 걸어놓으면 또 나도 또 갖다 걸어놓으면 돼요.
And if she takes it off, then you do the same thing.
그것도 아무 일도 아니에요.
You know, so it's nothing.
그 다음에 부엌을 좀 어지러 놓으면 치우면 돼요.
And if she makes a mess in the kitchen, she doesn't clean up well, just go ahead and clean up.
뭐 청소하는 게 뭐 나쁜 거예요, 좋은 거지.
You know, cleaning is not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
그 사람이 청소를 하면 좋지만 그 사람이 안 하는데 어떡할 거예요?
It'll be good if she actually picked up, you know, her part, but if she's not doing it, so what are you going to do?
뭐 바빠서 그랬구나 이렇게 생각하면 돼요.
You just think she must have been too busy to clean up.
안 그러면 뭐 습관이 저렇구나 이렇게 생각하면 되죠.
Or just say, you know what, maybe she just doesn't clean up by habit.
그래서 뭐 뒷설거지는 내가 좀 늦게 왔으니까 뭐 좀 한 1년은 내가 해준다 이렇게 생각하면 되죠.
You just say, you know what, I haven't been here as long as she has in this job, so I'll just take over the dishwashing for about a year or so.
그리고 가끔 차 마실 때 웃으면서 그 설거지 하기가 요새 내 힘이 좀 드는데 조금 도와주면 안 되나 이렇게 물어보면 돼요.
And then at the right time afterwards, you know, while you're drinking tea or something else, you just say, you know what, dishwashing is becoming more and more difficult for me, so can you help out a little?
이것은 왜 내가 남의 일을 하느냐 이렇게 생각하지 말고 어차피 불평하면서 할 건지 불평 안 하면서 할 건지 선택은 내가 할 수 있다는 거예요.
So instead of thinking that you're doing somebody else's work or you're cleaning up after somebody else, you know, it's the choice is whether I'm going to do the same thing while suffering and complaining or do the same thing without doing that, without complaining.
근데 여러분들이 미국에 살면서 너무 내일 내일 이렇게 이기적으로 따지니까 이게 큰 괴로움이 될지 몰라도 저 같으면 그 뭐 큰 문제가 아닌 것 같아요.
So this seems like a huge, you know, source of suffering to me. It becomes a source of suffering because we construct all this, my work versus your work, all around us.
왜 환자들 할머니들 어지러 놓으면 아무 불평 안 하고 도울 거 아니에요. 그 사람들 어지러 놓고 도우나 뭐 동료가 어지러 놓고 도우나 마찬가지라고 생각해요. 그냥 어지러 놓으면 치우면 되지.
For example, if a patient with Alzheimer's, if she makes a mess in a room, then you clean up without any complaining. But if a colleague makes a mess, doesn't clean up after herself, then you complain while doing the same cleanups.
그래서 직장을 그게 하기 싫으면 직장을 그만두면 돼요.
So if you don't want to, you know, deal with that, then you can quit.
안 그러면 상사한테 가서 강력하게 문제를 제기하든지요.
Or just go escalate this even more strongly to your supervisor.
안 그러면 그 여자한테 세게 문제를 제기하든지.
Or escalate to her directly, person in question, much more forcefully.
그래서 언쟁을 하고 싸워도 돼요.
Or and you can go on and having those arguments.
그런 게 더 낫겠는지, 아이고, 피곤하니까 그냥 적절하게 내가 하는 게 낫다. 싸우는 것보다는 내가 하는 게 덜 피곤하다. 이렇게 생각하든지, 그건 선택해서 하면 된다는 거예요.
So is that better? Or you can also choose to just, you know, go ahead and do the works that you've been doing and kind of endure it because that's a better choice. So it's up to you.
그 여자가 좀 시간 지키라고 한다, 그림 좀 내놓는다, 설거지 좀 안 한다. 그게 기후 환경 위기에 큰 장애도 안 되고 세계 평화에도 큰 장애가 안 되고 굶어 죽는 사람 문제에도 큰 장애가 안 되고 그 사실은 별거 아니에요. 소소한 일이에요.
So taking off, you know, it's not telling you to end on time or taking your artwork off the walls or not doing some dishes, you know, all in all, these are really small things. You know, they're not something that affects the climate change that brings about or interferes with world peace. You know, if you just take a step back in the right perspective, they're just little things.
그냥 조금 스트레스 받으면 얘기를 하고 또 해주기도 하고 이러면서 직장 다녀야지 직장을 어떻게 내 맘대로 내 원하는 대로 될 수가 있겠어요.
And if it causes you stress, you know, maybe you can just, you know, go ahead and live with that stress or maybe you complain a little or you do both in different times. if you like the job, you want to continue with the job, but you can't make that job and the circumstances fit to your needs and desires.
이게 법적으로 위법 행위다 하면 수를 하던 죄가 강력하게 개선하는 자세가 필요합니다.
But if it's something against policy itself or it's illegal, then you have some standing.
왜냐하면 그것은 사회적 정의를 위해서요.
And because you are actually acting on the part of social justice.
그게 어떤 법률적인 문제가 아니고 그냥 개인의 습관이나 문화적인 문제다 할 때는 그렇구나 하고 수용하는 게 필요합니다.
However, if it's not a legal issue and if it's have to do with personal, cultural, or habitual issues, you have to be able to accommodate a little.
왜냐하면 그건 해결 방법이 없잖아요.
Because there's no way for you to resolve that.
마음을 조금 자비심을 크게 내보세요. 크게 마음을 내면 아무 일도 아니에요, 그거.
Allow yourself to be the bigger person, emote more of a clemency towards your people, towards your colleagues. And once you do that, you'll realize these are inconsequential things.
뭐 그런 거 좀 봐주면 어때요? 아무 지구상에 인류상에 아무 문제도 없어요. 그거 좀 해준다고.
What if you clean up a little more, clean up after her? It doesn't really affect the world.
So, 스님, I left the dishes on the sink 3 days and they was still there. So eventually I did. All the trash, I didn't to take the trash out. It was there, 2 bags there. So I did eventually. So I kind of know that the snim gonna say that like that. But I just don't wanna hear from you and how can I practice when I have the negative or upsetting, it's just occupied my heart, and how can I practice? I just want to have the words or pray.
별거 아니다 이렇게 생각하면 되는데 뭐 때문에 또 그렇게 종교적인 문제를 만들어 가지고 그렇게 복잡하게 하려고 그래요.
Do not overcomplicate the situation and make it into a religious practice issue. It's just a matter of perspective. Just enlarge your perspective.
설거지는 치우기 싫으면 나누면 돼요. 그러니까 내가 3일간 보고 안 돼서 내가 답답해서 내가 치운 거지 그들을 위해서 치운 거 아니잖아요. 그냥 자기가 답답하면 자기가 치우면 되고 그냥 내버려 두면 되지.
You can leave the dishes for 3 days, but it was you who couldn't endure the sight of those dirty dishes, and you had to go and clean the dishes, right? So you did it for yourself.
여기서 그들을 위해서 치웠다 이렇게 생각하니까 이게 문제인 거예요.
This becomes a problem because you think you did it for them.
엄마들이 이렇죠. 아이들 방에 안 치운다고 요글요글 하고 또 가서 청소해주고 또 요글요글 하고 또 청소해주고 이러잖아요. 내버려 두든지 아무 말도 말고 청소를 하든지 이렇게 해야 되는데.
So mothers do this all the time with their children, right? So they go in and curse out the children for not having a clean room and then clean the room for them and then go back and realize it's dirty again and yell at them for not having a clean room, but also clean their room out for them. So it's the same thing.
그건 아이들 문제가 아니고 내 문제인 것처럼 이것은 그 사람들의 문제가 아니라 자기 문제라고 봐야 된다는 거예요.
And that's not the child's problem. It's the mom's problem for not being able to endure the sight of a dirty room. And same thing goes for you.
Thank you, 스님. It's my problem, not their problem. Thank you.
그러니까 별거 아니다 이렇게 생각하세요. 기도문이란 별거 아니다. 이게 뭐 별거예요 이게. 그러니까 5분 늦었다 이러면 종소리라고 생각하고 그림은 가서 내 거 걸고 싶으면 걸면 되고 뭐 그 사람께 더 좋으면 놔둬도 되고 또 설거지는 뭐 해도 되고 하기 싫으면 안 해도 되고 그렇지 불평은 하지 말라는 거예요.
So if you're looking for a prayer mantra to pray to, basically it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal because, doing a little more dishes, not a big deal. Somebody taking your artwork off the wall is not a big deal. Somebody telling you to finish up on time is not a big deal.
It was really helping, and every morning when I go there, the lady didn't say good morning, but when I back to work on Monday, I'll say first good morning and big smiling, and I'm willing to do it. I'm not gonna let the bothering that's under my skin, and I'm gonna say the big picture. I appreciate. I have a great job. I really love it, and I see when I see that Alzheimer residents, I see my elderhood life. Maybe that's the possibility. One day I'll be there, and then that's why I love that job, and I'll be more willing to do my work and then grateful mind, and really see the small problem. I'll have a grateful mind, and I'll do that best my performance every day. Thank you so much, 스님.
이번에 저희들이 인도 성지순례를 다녀왔습니다.
We recently went on a pilgrimage to India.
네, 1,200명 이상 갔기 때문에 숙소가 부족해서 저희 교실 바닥에 잔 적도 여러 번 있습니다.
Since 1,200 of us went at the same time, there was, lack of sleeping spaces. So sometimes we had to sleep on the floor in the classrooms.
네, 우리는 하루 숙박비를 10불 이상 쓰지 않는 원칙을 갖고 여행을 했습니다.
So one of our core organizing principle was not to spend more than $10 per night for lodging per person.
한국에 그 성지순례를 갔다 와서 한 사람이 소감을 발표하는데 이런 얘기를 했습니다.
So after the pilgrimage was over, we came back to Korea. One of the travelers who went there actually shared this afterwards.
직장이 너무 힘들어서 조기 퇴직을 하거나 하려다가 일단 1년간 휴가를 냈다고 합니다.
He said, his job was so difficult that he was thinking about early retirements, but he just wanted to take a sabbatical for a year. So that's what he did.
다시 직장에 가려니까 또 힘이 들어서 은퇴를 하느냐 마느냐 이렇게 망설이게 있는 중에 성지순례를 갔답니다.
So he was about to go back to work from his year-long sabbatical, but he was still conflicted, whether he just was thinking that he might still have to retire early, and that's the point in which he went on this Indian pilgrimage.
그런데 인도의 생활은 밥은 이렇게 그저 간단하게 하루에 2끼만 먹고 잠은 침낭 가지고 아무 데서나 자고 그 다음에 대소변은 화장실이 없으니까 다 길거리에서 보고 그 다음에 버스를 타고 수천 리길을 계속 15일간 다녔습니다.
But in India, during our pilgrimage, every day you would eat only 1 or 2 meals a day, whatever you can, the simplest meals. You will sleep wherever you can on your sleeping bag. Then, if there's no bathroom is available, then you'll make do whatever you have to. And then we'll be riding buses for hundreds of miles every day.
거기다 또 10명을 책임지는 자기가 조장을 맡았다는 거예요.
And then on top of that, he was in charge of a unit of 10 fellow travelers.
근데 여행도 힘들지만은 사람들이 이렇게 의견이 달라가지고 불평을 많이 했다는 거예요.
So the journey itself was very difficult, but he also had to mediate a lot of the complaints from the 10 people he was in charge of.
한국에 들어와서 직장에 갔더니 직장이란 아무것도 안 하더라는 거예요.
So once he came back and went back to work, it was nothing. The work was nothing.
왜 내가 이런 걸 갖고 불평을 했나 이런 생각이 들더라는 거예요.
And he came to think that, what was I complaining about at work?
자기가 성지순례를 안 갔으면 은퇴를 할 뻔했는데 앞으로 10년 아무 불평 없이 잘 다니겠다고 그런 발표를 했어요.
Basically, if he hadn't gone to the Indian pilgrimage, then he would have probably retired early. But now that he's gone, and based on that experience, he's willing to happily, without complaints, work for 10 more years.
요구가 많으면 이제 안 되는 게 많기 때문에 불평이 많아지고요. 지금 말한 대로 이런 직장에서 내가 예선한 사람을 돌볼 수 있다 하는 감사한 마음을 가지면 다른 거는 그런 거 뭐 별 문제가 아니다 이렇게 볼 수가 있습니다.
So if you have a lot of demands, then not all those demands will be met, then you will have a lot of complaints. But if you go into your job with a sense of gratitude and thankful for the opportunities to take care of all these needy people, then all the other things become minor.
문제를 삼으면 문제는 천 가지 만 가지가 되고요. 문제를 안 삼으면 이 세상에 아무 문제도 없습니다.
So if you want to create a problem, if you want to see a problem, you'll see countless problems in this world. But if you don't want to create a problem, if you don't want to see the problem, there's no problem in this world.